So it's been just a little over 48 hours since Donald Trump was inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States. And in typical Donald Trump fashion, he has taken to social media to talk about a myriad of topics, but one topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is Russia. And in typical Donald Trump fashion, he has made comments that have stirred up controversy with regard to Russia. So let's talk about it.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
So as you can tell by the weather and the surroundings, I'm not in Moscow. I am still in Texas, and this is Eddie Stark Park. This is the ballpark where I used to play Little League when I was a kid. I'm in my hometown of Raymondville, and yeah, this ballpark has seen some really, really good games back in the day when I played Little League about 50 years ago. Yeah, it's been that long. So one of the things I think we can all agree on is that Donald J. Trump never disappoints. And he didn't disappoint today when he posted this message on his Truth Social with regard to Russia. And, you know, when I read it, it's in typical Donald J. Trump style, you know, with this passive aggressive commentary with regard to Russia, where he says, I love Russia, I love the Russian people, I don't want to hurt the Russian people, I have a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin. And then he goes on to say that he wants the war in Ukraine to end and that it must come to an end soon. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. But then he goes on making some additional statements that the Red Army, the USSR at that time, helped America win the war against Nazi Germany. So, you know. And then he goes on to say that there was some 60 million people of the former Soviet Union who lost their lives during the Great Patriotic War. You know, that number is closer to 27 million. And then at the same time, he says that if Russia does not come to the negotiating table, that he will use taxes, tariffs, and additional sanctions against Russia. And these comments have just set off on both sides. All around the world, I've seen comments from many Russian bloggers on X that have a very negative opinion about these comments, quite obviously. And then there are others who basically say, rah, 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 let's go, let's defeat Russia before they come after us. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about that because I read this message, I think, completely different. So first of all, this this message was not meant for the Russian consumer. It is not for Russian consumption. This message is not even for every American. It is for a select few of the American electorate that still buys into the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax. This is meant for those people who are not well versed in geopolitics, don't know much about what happens outside of the United States, and that still need to be spoon fed information and the truth in little bites and bits. It's totally who it's for. Because anyone, I mean, really, I think anybody who has been watching geopolitics, been following geopolitics for maybe certainly the last 2 years since special military operation has been going on, knows that sanctions against Russia haven't worked. Russia is arguably the most sanctioned country on earth. I think it probably beats North Korea. But what have these sanctions really accomplished for the West? We've seen basically the economy of Europe completely torn apart and decimated. Germany, which was arguably the largest economy in Europe, barely surviving. Not to mention the EU as a whole. So sanctions really haven't done much against Russia. What they have done is, and don't take my word for it, but Russia's response to sanctions has been to look for cooperation. And they have found cooperation in the global south and in the BRICS nations. And of course, I'm talking about China, India, and Iran. 3 countries that many in the United States feel are enemies of the United States, thanks to mainstream media, thanks to messages like what we just read from Donald Trump. So, yeah. But you really want to know what's going on in Russia, you need to come visit. And so it's my hope that Donald Trump's first foreign visit would be to Moscow. I think that's a must. That would send a huge, huge message, not only to Russia and the Russian people, but the whole world would see that Donald Trump really means what he says when he says that this war needs to end. It would also send a huge message to the European Union and to NATO and to Zelensky. It basically says, you're done. You're done. We're done. We're not doing this anymore. And so I'm hoping that Donald Trump and his foreign policy administration will do this. I don't know. You got Marco Rubio there. And I don't know about this guy. But I'm really hoping that would happen. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Marco Rubio. And is he capable? Is he up to the job? I mean, he's got to carry out Donald Trump's foreign policy on the world stage. And if he doesn't do it, he's going to lose his job. He'll be fired. We know that. But can he do it? I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about tariffs, because this is the big buzzword now. It's not so much sanctions anymore as much as it is tariffs. Now, Trump has been talking tariffs against everybody. Canada, Mexico, Germany, China, big time China. And of course, with the threat of more sanctions against Russia. What would tariffs against Russia do? Well, you got to ask yourself, what does Russia export to the United States? And you might be interested to know that some of the things that Russia imports, or rather exports to the United States, are things like platinum, titanium. And while direct oil imports have been banned since 2022, there are many probably petroleum-based products that would still find their way into the United States market. You might be interested to know, you might be surprised to know, that uranium is exported from Russia to the United States. Uranium. Also wood and plywood, wood products. So adding tariffs to these imports from Russia would have a detrimental effect on the American consumer. And this is a direct opposition to Donald Trump and his Make America Great Again initiative. So you can't make America great when you've got high inflation, when you've got people who are still struggling month to month. And so I don't see how these tariffs will benefit the United States. I'm not an expert, but if you are, let me know down in the comments. I'd really like to know how tariffs could hurt Russia and China, India, Mexico, Canada, all of these countries, and not bite the American consumer, the American taxpayer. Just the guy getting up every day, going to work. I don't know. I'm not surprised by Trump's post. Part of me feels that Trump likes to create controversy. He likes to get people thinking. He wants people to think out loud, to have conversations, to do research, to think about these things. And the only way to do that is to maybe say some outlandishly stupid things on social media. And all I've got to say is that if that's his intent, it works. And it works really well. Because when Donald Trump speaks, people listen and people have a lot to say. Just like me in this video. So yeah, so to my friends in Russia who may be watching, take these comments from Donald Trump about taxes, tariffs, and additional sanctions, all that other jazz, and take it with a grain of salt. To my friends in America, do your research. This is what Trump wants you to do. He wants you to think about these things and have an informed opinion about it. And if you are Zelensky or NATO or the EU, Donald Trump is coming after you. He's going to leave you dangling in the wind if he has his way. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I'm in Texas for about another week. No, a lot of you have been asking, when am I returning back to Moscow? Soon. Very, very soon. Yeah, I've had a good time here in Texas, enjoying the food, enjoying the company, family, and friends. Yeah, it's been good, but it's time to get back to reality. Time to get back to my family back in Moscow. Yeah. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Donald Trump's latest and greatest social media post with regard to Russia. Anyway, so from sunny but cool South Texas,